Yep. Welcome to West Covina City Council meeting. Today is August 18th, and our city meeting in session. Okay, and tonight, invocation will be led by Chaplain Kelly Dupay from Faith Community Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Cassiano. All rise, please.
Pastor, you're good to go. Chaplain, sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, very good. All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for the privilege of living and working in the great city of West Covina. And Lord, we thank you that you are with us to guide us and to guide our city council as they make decisions regarding our city. So Father, we pray your blessing on this meeting tonight. We thank you, God, for guiding our city council and as they listen to concerns, as they discuss the issues, and as they make decisions. Father, we pray your blessing upon our police and fire departments. We pray your blessing upon everyone who works for our city, as well, Lord God, as our military and those in government all across our nation. Father, bring our nation together and unite us, Lord, and give us your blessing upon our land. So, Father, we thank you for your blessing tonight. Bless this meeting and be with our council tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Chaplain.
You're so welcome. You can call me either. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Assistant City Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Castellanos.
Here.
Councilman Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Shoemaker.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez Beato.
Here.
Mayor Wu.
Here. And the City Attorney, do you have anything to report out for our closed session?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Then we're going to move to presentation. Okay. Okay, our first presentation is West Covina Beautiful. I'd like to invite Ms. Colleen Rosati. Ms. Colleen Rosati, would you please come down? Okay, to the podium to basically, she's doing so many years for West Covina birthday, and we want to thank you, and we want to recognize you to make West Covina beautiful. You want to say something?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For those of you that don't know, West Covina Beautiful is the oldest nonprofit organization here in the city, established in 1948. We've been around for almost 78 years, and I'm proud to say that. I'm honored to receive these awards from Mayor Wu. One, should I tell him? Or are you going to tell him? Okay. One is for the city's birthday bash for 97 years, which we had in February prior to the pandemic, and we had a sold-out house. And this is an event that West Covina Beautiful has been putting on for over 40 years, and we're proud to do so. The next award, maybe you should say this. Okay. The next award is for our impact projects, and this is a project of love, and my fellow board member, Jim Hetzel, will agree with me that we go out into the community and look for folks that need a little TLC with their yard or maybe their home or backyard and kind of beautify it and make them feel a little better about their property and about themselves. We recently did a project during the pandemic, and I'm happy to say that it was very successful. There was no incident. We social distance. We had volunteers come out. And I'd like to thank just some of our community partners, just so that you know all the folks that come forward and help West Covina Beautiful with these amazing impact projects that we do. Ashley Rosati coordinates the Athens services. They bring a roll-off. And if you've seen a roll-off, it's like a semi-size trash bin. It's huge. It's wonderful. Ecotech. El Pescador provided all the food for us. East Valley Community Health Partners. Mr. Reuter did all the plumbing repairs. Suburban Water instrumental in putting in irrigation and having the water system brought up to date so the resident can water their lawn properly. Supervisor Hilda Solis has supported us, the Tenant Foundation, and of course, West Covina Firefighters 3226. They're a machine. They come up, they help us, they take care of business. They really make an impact on our projects. Our youth volunteers and the maintenance guys, John and Mike, thank you. I couldn't do it without you. Appreciate it. And if you're interested in helping with West Covina Beautiful projects, go to our Facebook, sign up, be a part of the community. This really is a great city, and we always come together, and this is just a true testament that we can make a difference and keep West Covina beautiful. Jim? Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Wu. Mayor Wu. I said too much, probably.
Could you hear me? Okay. Okay, and I want to say this. Okay, February I joined the celebration of West Covina birthday, and it's a very warm, very happy night for all the residents to be there, and we hope we will continue to do it every year. Okay, hopefully next year the pandemic is over, so we can really celebrate at the South Hill Country Club again.
Yep, and we already have it on the calendar.
Yeah, and we have the 100 years. So 1923, West Covina become a city. So meaning what? 2023. So,
yes, 100 years.
Yep. So we want to have a big celebration. I really want to do this, okay, and the event for West Covina, because we need a lot of nonprofit to continue to make our West Covina proud. We want to make sure we live in a proud city. Thank you so much. So here, it's like in. So okay, this one reliable. That one is like me. Okay, so. So anyway, here I want to represent West Covina to present two certificates. One is hosting the city of West Covina 97 years of a birthday bash. Okay, and it's a magnificent event. Everybody have a good time and wonderful for all the residents to join. Okay, here is the certificate.
Thank you.
Okay, and we going to another certificate, West Covina Beautiful 2019 Impact Volunteer of the Year Award. So we want to thank you to do this nonprofit, continue to help the city and clean up the city, plant the tree, and that is important for our volunteer and our resident to come like this, work together and improve our city. It's a certificate for your team. Thank you so much. Can we, somebody? Okay. Okay, now we're going to next presentation. And this presentation basically is saving life. In March, when city and the hospital cannot find any mask or PPE, and one group step up, and the group come up to donate so many of masks and protective gown, and all those PPE to help not only the hospital plus nursing home. And other people is wondering, say, where West Covina gets so many masks, where this mask coming from? And we have about more than 50 group of people donate all this, but the one group donate the most. I want to introduce them and to have our recognition, because I think you can tell us how many masks and how many hospital you donate to them. So I want to welcome, Hope Lions Club St. Gabriel, that step up with mobilize, and donate so many. I don't know how much money it costs you, but you really save a lot of life, because in March that time, and the people were so worried and they cannot find any. And the hospital, you can come up. The hospital basically, and they are okay, and basically to come. And I remember we went to the first hospital, Queensville Valley. Then we went and then we went to Pomona Valley Hospital, and we went to City of Hope, and we went to Case Medical of USC, because our resident sent the email to me and request, and my help, say, hey, Mayor, I work in the emergency room, at the Case Medical Center in USC, and quite a few of West Covina residents, and they're asking for help. And I call Hope Lions Club and say, would you please donate 10,000, 20,000 of masks and N95 to the hospital. So here tonight, finally you see the hero or heroine, let's step up to help our city and the community, and later on even donate for our resident. And so you can talk about how many hospital, how many and PPE, and maybe you can tell how much money you spend, to donate to this to help our community. Not only West Covina, I think you help him. Yeah, here is the president, Debbie Chu. Okay, go.
So, good evening, everyone. I am Angelina Simeonescu. I am the daughter of Dr. Debbie Ju. So first, we'd like to thank you, Tony Wu, for presenting us with this award. And now I'd like to say that we are the Hope Lions Club. Together, we serve the community. We are servants of our community, and we are both willingly and actively contributing to not just this community, but communities all over California, all over America. So from the very start of this outbreak, everywhere was kind of hit hard, and my mom has a big, loving heart. She just can't seem to let people go, and we've gone to like almost every hospital that has requested masks and many more, and donated millions of masks to not just millions to places here in America, and also where the outbreak originally started in Wuhan. So my mother is the founder of Hope Center and has dedicated her life to helping others. She used her leadership skills to form the Hope Lions Club division in hope to bring a community of people alike together. And so we stand here together to say that we are honored to receive this award. Thank you.
So you really want to know how much I spent? Go ahead, say anything you want.
Yeah, I know, because I go to those hospitals, and you to our senior center when I request, say, we want to give to senior who did a free mask, and then later on to resident, and you to donate quite a lot. Not only you, and we still have another 40 or 50 group of private citizen or group, and including Diamond Lions Club, they sponsor too, and a lot of non-profit organizations, including CEO. And last time they even donate for our senior meal. So now with senior meal program, we need some can help us today some senior meal program. But anyway. Sponsor
127 hospital, and usually each one hospital is like 10,000 to 50,000 different masks. So you can time to that. It's more than 1 million.
127
hospital.
The East Coast or
yes,
including East Coast too.
Yes, and Texas and Florida.
Tampa, Florida too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this really helped a lot, because in March and April, we really have a hard time to find any mask. Okay, and now we can see it's not from me, it's from them. Okay, the hero. Okay, but I want to really thank you for the love and the help the community and the help so many hospitals and saving so many of our frontliners, especially all the medical staff, and they were really in trouble at the time, and that's what you step up and have your member to donate the money to all these things from all over the places. So I think this is a magnificent. So I really want to. So should we give them the applause? And then this. For everybody, that time people so worried, and when they cannot find mask, and I see a lot of senior, in tears, and they're using the handkerchief, and that's ridiculous, so this is for you. Okay, so represent, any of you say something? Yeah,
I know your name for a long time ago. I was introduced by Ontario Mayor of Paul Leon, I talk on the phone. You never know me. This is Judy Lee. But anyway, so when they told me, inform me it has to be this morning, 7 a.m., I said, my gosh, such distinguished mayor. Luckily, I met Lisa, so that's why we just, to come at 7 p.m. But anyway, the first time to come to City Hall. Very nice to meet you.
I think you by City Council, so 7 a.m. Okay, 7 a.m. We're still jogging or we're still feeding our dog. You want to say something?
I'm the secretary of the Hope Lions Club. I'm so proud to be part of Hope Lions Club because this year I see how the Lions Club can extend their love and then their gratitude to the communities and to meet the humanitarian service and the needs. And I'm so grateful that I see a lot of good things and learn a lot of good things from Dr. Debbie Jo. And I hope we continue to do as much as we can to the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Represent West Covina. The mayor, I here recognize you, and we want to thank you for the generous donation of personal protective equipment. Okay, next one. We not only have PPE, we need food. The Chick-fil-A, this is a presentation for Chick-fil-A. And they step up, they donate food senior program, right? And tell me who doesn't love your Chick-fil-A chicken, Yeah, everybody loves, Chick-fil-A. So you helping the city and not only you and to open your business. Unfortunately, we got this pandemic, but I think you're still doing good. Not only that, you're willing to step up and to help the community, to help our senior. So, sorry, first name will be Daniel. Yes, Daniel. Okay, Daniel. Okay, I'm getting old. Okay, I don't remember anything. But Daniel, thank you so much. You want to say something?
Yes. I wrote a few words that I wanted to share my heart with the city. In my humble opinion, I believe that this city has become a great city because of the hard work that our senior citizens have done in the past. In honor of their hard work and effort to provide not only my generation, but future generations with a great community, we decided back in March 2020 to honor our senior citizens with a delicious chicken sandwich, waffle potato chips, and a chocolate chunk cookie. At Chick-fil-A West Covina, we want to encourage our community to take good care of each other by giving our best, growing ourselves, and helping restore the lives of others. Thank you for allowing my team and my family to serve in this community in which I see myself serving for the rest of my life. God bless you.
Danny Hernandez. Okay, I remember when you opened, okay, at the beginning of this year, right?
February 3rd.
February 3rd, and we went to your grand opening, and you told us about your American dream, that you studied in Chick-fil-A as a busboy, okay, and then gradually become the manager, and then you came back, okay, and set up your Chick-fil-A branch in West Covina. And I met your manager team from the headquarters. They say nothing but great thing about your persistence and continue to fight, because this is what the young person achievement. And not only he start with a bus boy, and then and come back. You went back to Mexico, right? You want to introduce about your story?
Started as a cow.
Started a cow, okay, mascot.
Started as a cow mascot at the Chick-fil-A in the city of Azusa back in 2013. This is my brother Juan. He's our general manager.
Hi, Juan.
And born in the city of West Covina, but I grew up in Mexico City. Came back to the States to accomplish the American dream. And thanks to the Lord Jesus, I have been blessed to own the Chick-fil-A in West Covina. And now looking forward to opening more Chick-fil-A's in West Covina and continue to serve the community. See,
this is a prime example of a young, youth should be learned from you. Is never ever, let people to put you down. Never ever to let people discourage you. Never ever to let people to say you cannot do it. Look you, not only you studying with a cow, and now you come back as a big cow, so really, really helping, and your dream and showing the young people. And you sponsor our senior meal program and helping, not only make them, you still continue to pitch in our community to work together. And we are so, as you are our resident to West Covina, come back to business. And here we represent West Covina. We want to present a certificate to recognize you to so much and donate the meal program to our community. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate Juan. Appreciate Danny. And waiting for another donation from you.
We donated Queen of the Valley and the police. Let us know.
Good job. But we want to wish you the best. We will continue to support you. Have all the residents to shop your place.
And don't forget to eat more chicken.
Eat more chicken. Healthy. No cholesterol. Thank you, Danny and Juan. Before I move on to oral communications, I want to, with a German in the memory of one of our beloved staff. He basically worked with us for more than 20 years. It is a great sadness that I announce the death of Eddie Hidalgo, a city employee of the Public Service Department of the city of West Covina. And Eddie passed away on July 24, 2020. Eddie worked in the public service department for over 20 years. Eddie was a great baseball fan, well-liked, and will be greatly missed, especially for his knowledge, commitment to excellence, for his willingness to always help others, and especially for his hard work and dedication to the city of West Covina for over 20 years. And as city will join with me in expressing our sincere sympathy to the family over the loss of Eddie Hidalgo. So would you please make a remark and send a condolence to their family? Thank you so much. And now we're going to move to oral communication. How many speakers, in person?
Good evening, Mayor. We have 6 people in chambers who would like to speak, and we have 8 call-ins.
Okay, go ahead. Have the first speaker, please.
Our first speaker is Chris Miller, followed by Steve Bennett, followed by Angie Gillingham.
So, by a show of hands in the audience, how many people are disappointed with what's been happening with public comments during this pandemic? One thing is, how do we get more people involved in civics? By asking them to come and talk and give them opportunities. A lot of times it's hard for people to come in and speak. And also, as a resident, we want to hear what everybody has to say. It shouldn't be just read and filed away in public record. It needs to live, and we need to hear what other people are saying so we can, have our minds made and maybe change our minds. What I'm suggesting is that we have Monday, up to Monday, to give public comment. That way, you can get video, you can get call-in, whatever it may be. You have a whole day as council to review public comment and really consider what we all are saying. And then after that, file it on YouTube. YouTube has free memory that people can go back and look at what other people have said. Just a thought. The other item I want to speak on is the zoning law changes. In America, we have a constitution. Power comes from the people in the local government. Then it goes out to the state, and finally the federal, as originally intended by our founding fathers, as kind of the arbitrator between states. I grew up in Glendale and saw what development does to a city and how it changes and transforms. I'm asking the city and the residents to fight not ADUs, but rather development, in our resident neighborhoods by, people buying single-family homes, combining them together, and making multi-family living zones, because that will transform our city. We all bought in suburban. We did not buy in downtown LA. We did not buy in Santa Monica. We bought in West Covina because we wanted to buy in the suburbs. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Next speaker, please.
Steve Bennett, followed by Angie Gillingham, followed by Brian Tabatabai.
Good evening, council and city staff. I'm here tonight to talk about consistency. Consistency is the one thing that we as residents can relate. For example, we as residents can state unequivocally that the council is consistent in its quest to prevent the public from expressing their comments at a council meeting. A couple of you have expressed that you want emailed public comments to be read aloud at the council meeting, but as you see on the agenda tonight, that is still not the case. The city council is the first council that is not reading emails submitted to the city clerk. In fact, we go back for years. There's been numerous comments which have been emailed to the city and read into the record long before the current COVID pandemic. In fact, the city council is the only city in the surrounding area that is not reading email comments aloud during council meetings and whilst in the middle of a public health crisis. If you really want to hear from the public, then you should read emails submitted to the city, just as the city has done for many years and just as the city has done for months until some comments read were not favorable to this city council. On item number 7 tonight, you are considering the purchase agreement for the sale of Sunset Field to Queen of the Valley Hospital. Just want to remind you that the City Council, that the sale of that land has a stipulation to use all the funds to acquire new parkland. As the staff report states, the city did acquire 2 parcels of land adjacent to Cameron Park and Palm View Park prior to the sale being complete. However, if you remember correctly, the general fund dollars were used to fund some of that purchase amount, and the general fund should be able to be paid back from that new park acquisition fund. As I can tell, the amount of $1 million was paid by Eminent Health already to fund the purchase of those parcels, and the city used about $465,000 out of the general fund. If I may, I would recommend that we use the $465,000 coming back to the general fund to purchase some of that fire equipment that's outdated and deemed unsafe, so that our fire department has required equipment to keep them safe. I stand here tonight to reiterate that I am opposed to any change to Los Angeles County Fire, and these upgrades would reduce our costs and lessen the burden on our budget going forward. Finally, I want to address the big topic that was brought up at the last council meeting. It appears that this council is looking to review the sale of alcohol at gas stations once again. Only about 10 months ago, this city council issued a decision on this very topic. In fact, the late Forrest Wilkins had spoken at countless city council meetings and planning commission meetings against this very topic. In fact, he circulated a petition and received substantial support from residents to leave the ordinance in place as is. I believe there was several hundred signatures, and Councilman Lloyd Johnson was very proud to have been one of those signatures. In an email to residents, Mr. Johnson explained that he is pro-West Covina business position and the city needs revenue. Let's look at this from a little bit of a business perspective. Everyone can follow along with a calculator if you want. If you take the approximate 8 gas stations that would qualify to sell alcohol on the last Planning Commission's recommendations and assume that each gas station will see about a $10,000 per month increase in sales, let's also use a 10% sales tax for easy math, even though our sales tax is only 9.5%. Here's the calculation. 8 gas stations at $10,000 in additional sales each month totals about $80,000 in a month for all of those 8 gas stations. $80,000 a month multiplied by 12 months equals $960,000 in total revenue for those 8 gas stations. The sales tax collected by the state of California at 10%, we'll say, is about $96,000 a year for those 8 gas stations. However, the city of West Covina only gets 1% of that sales tax collected, which means the city of West Covina will get $9,600 a year in revenue allowing for the sale of alcohol at those 8 gas stations. This is a conservative estimate, as we used a higher tax rate and probably a higher amount of monthly sales than what will actually happen at those 8 gas stations. The city of West Covina has spent far more than $10,000 in staff time and effort to prepare all of the information that the city council will need to review this between the meetings last year and now. The only businesses that will benefit from this are those 8 gas stations that will be allowed to sell the alcohol. So it is only pro-business for those 8 gas stations. In fact, most other businesses will see sales revenue slump or lose, so there may not even be a net gain for the businesses in the businesses or city revenue. So, tell me again why we are spending so much time on this for only $10,000 a year in city revenue. Tell me how we will use that, how not use up that revenue and added police responses to those businesses. And tell me again why we are looking to change this insignificant ordinance once again for mere pennies in our city budget. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Okay, next speaker, please.
Brian Tabatabai, followed by Michael Hyatt.
City manager, clean up the microphone for speaker. Thank you, Mark. Go ahead, Angie.
Thank you. Before I start, I want to thank Steve for providing the revenue figures. Mr. Johnson's been asked on several emails, and that has not been answered. So thank you, Mr. Bennett. Over 10 years ago, I supported a longtime resident, Forrest Wilkins, in collecting signatures, over 700 of them, all of them who opposed the sale of alcohol at our gas stations. May I take this off? Okay, thank you. Those signatures were submitted into the city's records to be on file forever. Forrest Wilkins stood for better schools, better community services, better neighborhoods, and that's why I joined him. He designed these postcards that we distributed throughout our own respected neighborhoods. The number of locations where you could purchase alcohol were 141 licensed retail businesses at that time. Do you really believe we need more businesses to sell alcohol? This subject has come in front of councils and planning commissions many times and was defeated many times by sound councils who felt this was not good for our city. Councilman Johnson even voted and supported no on the alcohol sales. So why is Councilman Johnson changing his mind since October 2019? Maybe because he accepted money from the gas station owner, Mr. Carmini, who is on a Schedule A as MSTN Corp. In the amount of $500, who was the same businessman who pushed for selling alcohol in 2019. Mr. Carmini is not struggling to feed his family. Just the opposite. He has 2 to 3 successful businesses in our city. Mr. Johnson responded to my email when asking him about this subject. He said he thought about this for some time and came to this conclusion. Was this the same thinking he applied when he supported the raises in 2019 for the PD and FD, or the same thinking he used for supporting Yes on WC? Do we want business to flourish? Yes. But do we put business before residents? Currently, we are all doing our best to buy West Covina by supporting our restaurants, supermarkets, gas stations, etc. I hope that when this comes before you at the next council, you will put the residents first. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. And next speaker, please.
Brian Tabatabai, followed by Michael Hyatt, followed by Jim Grivich.
Good evening, Council. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the land we inhabit today was the stolen land of the Gabrielino Tongva people, the original stewards of this land. For some time now, I've begun my public comments with this acknowledgement. Each time I have taken the time to reflect on those words, on that history, I am taken to the place of the ancestors and what that history speaks. The value of becoming part of the public record, no longer to be ignored. This week, I was reminded about how intimidating this space is, how our words are capped to 5 minutes, how our arguments can be rebutted without an ability to counter, how from the dais, the public can be attacked and not have the ability to defend oneself. These inherent inequities put a great responsibility on the council to listen, inform, and search out every stakeholder who is impacted by their decisions. Since 1977, the year I was born, the city of West Covina has banned the sale of alcohol from gas stations. In 2 weeks, the city council will attempt to once again overturn the ordinance. Councilman Johnson in the Tribune stated the argument clearly. We definitely need the revenue, and I think this would bring a good source of revenue. But is that true? As an economics teacher for the past 20 years, one of the fundamental lessons we teach is cost benefit. There are no win-wins. For every decision, a sacrifice is made somewhere. So what are we sacrificing? As a teacher for the past 20 years, I am acutely aware of the signs of physical abuse. Alcohol consumption is a major factor in violent crime, specifically domestic violence and child abuse. We know that accessibility to alcohol plays a role. As a mandated reporter, I have had to make those calls to protect children. During the pandemic, the numbers of reported abuse has dropped dramatically. No longer do children have the protection offered by school staff. No longer do many children have a voice. And yet here we are attempting to overturn an ordinance that no resident has clamored for, that does not provide a public good. This is a pro-West Covina business proposition. But which businesses? Is it Pacific Liquor, who will lose a large, substantial amount of their sales? Is it the 7-Eleven on Sunset, right next to an AM/PM that would be able to sell beer and wine? Again, when we talk about economic revenue, well, what about expenditures? How much will we have to spend in order to regulate these now 8 purveyors of alcohol? How much money is going to have to be spent for law enforcement When we talk about things like drunk driving, domestic abuse, violence, again, those jobs that when we rehire police, that's not a single cost. That is a long-lasting cost. That's a pension obligation cost. That's millions of dollars into the future. For what? For what? For whose business? For whose incentive are we going to pass this? Again, for 50 years, businesses have come to West Covina with those rules. As a football coach, I understand rules and I play by those rules, and we believe those rules to be fair. After 50 years to change those rules, where I have done the research to open my business on Sunset, understanding that I can sell alcohol, I play by the rules, so I open next to this Arco. And then 50 years later, to have those rules changed on me, right? After all the blood and sweat, how I trusted the city of West Covina, I said, I am going to build my business here. Like the young man who opened his Chick-fil-A here, right? He read those rules. He said, West Covina is the place for me. Pacific Liquor, they said, West Covina is the place. Based on these rules, I can put my business here, next to this gas station, right? But here we are, when no resident has asked for it, we are going to change those rules. Please, on September 1st, do what you've done for the last 50 years and keep the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Michael Hyatt, followed by Jim Grivich, followed by Yusuf Arifin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know there's someone on the phone as well. My name is Michael Hyatt, and my son attends San Jose Charter Academy in West Covina. I'm here, sorry, I don't have a script. I'm really going from emotion, so forgive me for that. But I am here because I need to talk about, let me first say that I have one child. San Jose is my only experience of an elementary school. We've been going there since kindergarten. And I know that my son is getting a good education. There are good teachers in San Jose, and I'm happy to be there. I'm going on 5 years now. We are going on 5 years now, and I've been very active in the school as a parent, volunteering, for events and creating committees to address what I felt were the needs of the school. I'm here today to talk about a stain on the school's reputation. I took a moment to send you all the letter that I wrote to the board members of San Jose Charter Academy, and I'm here. If you guys didn't get that email, I have the letter to share with you all now. The topic is systemic oppression in the school. The school San Jose is very good about teaching kids and very good about managing money. And from the research that I've done in the last few weeks, as you said, I wrote this letter addressing my concerns about systemic oppression and presented it to the board. And it has fallen on deaf ears, unfortunately. The greatest response that I got was, we will talk about it amongst ourselves, meaning amongst the board and administration. But it doesn't seem to be open to conversation, which is incredibly disappointing. I then went to City Council because I was told that, to West Covina Unified School District, Board of Directors, because I was told that the Unified School District had governing over the charter school. I went to them asking for their help. to change this behavior. And I was told by the president of the West Covina School District that they only have jurisdiction over San Jose's charter if there is evidence of mismanagement of money, or if there is evidence that the children are not being taught properly. I don't have that evidence. That is not my concern. I then was advised to go to the Los Angeles County Board of Education. I went there and they said, we don't have anything to do with San Jose Charter Academy. I should go to the state. And so I have gone to the state. But it seems as though no one seems to be willing to address this issue because San Jose's grades are so great. And, you know, they provide a great education. But, you know, you mentioned to Daniel and his brother, don't ever let somebody put you down. Don't ever allow someone to tell you that you are not as good as. And I'm telling this council that that is the culture that is in the school. And they get away with it because they are able to produce great test scores. They get away with it because they manage their money well. At what point do we hold this school, Denise Patton being the superintendent, Aaron Sharoma being the principal, at what point do we hold this school accountable for the manner of communication, the distorted manner of communication that is embedded in the culture of this school? It has to end. It is unfair to our parents. It is unfair to the teachers who are too afraid to speak up. And it is absolutely unfair to our children because we are teaching our children that you stay low, you stay quiet, be grateful that you're getting a good education. But if there's anything wrong, just do what you can do to get what you want and move on. It's wrong. And our children are learning this diseased understanding of communication. I am asking for this council's help. Mayor, I'm asking for your help. I know that it's a charter school, but it must be under somebody's jurisdiction here to make a difference. I would welcome anybody's response and feedback as I am trying to make difference. I'm trying to make a difference for the better.
Thank you so much. Okay, I really appreciate you. So passionate. We try our best to see how we can get involved into it for you. Okay, so thank you so much. Maybe city manager later on, we can see what we can do. We don't have a jurisdiction, but we try our best, see what we can do. Okay, and I will have a city manager respond after everybody finish their over communication. Would you please?
I'm happy to share this letter with everyone.
Yes.
I have 5 copies. Please.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am.
I welcome your help.
I really appreciate. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, you have a good kid. Okay, next speaker, please.
Jim Grivich, followed by Yusuf Arifin, followed by Brian Johnson.
Good evening. Unfortunately, I must continue to address the City Council on an issue that won't go away, the West Covina fire contract with the county. Last council meeting, our city manager announced that he's still pursuing the contract and the only remaining issue is the transition costs. Well, transition costs are repairs and equipment. And they're almost irrelevant because we have to repair our equipment and buy new equipment anyway. They're not material to this contract with the county for fire services. What's material is their fees, and their fees are $2 million more than our budget. So why are we even talking about a contract with the fire department? What's worse is that this contract will remove 2 of our fire stations, resulting in a dramatic reduction in services to our residents. I can't see any reason. It makes no sense. Why are we doing this? So I'm trying to respond to my own question. Why are we doing something that makes no sense? Let me give you one example. There was an argument made that, well, the county has a lot of fire stations. So what? The closest one is in Baldwin Park to Station 1. And that it takes 8 minutes to get from Baldwin Park to Station 1. So why are we getting rid of Station 1? All of those people in that neighborhood are not going to have decent fire services after we're done. It makes no sense that we haven't considered some options to restructure our own fire department. For example, it's been proposed more than once that we could contract for private ambulances, but our fire department has rejected that as an option. Yet, in this county contract, that's exactly what's going to happen. The county is going to contract with private ambulances. So why in the world can't we do it ourselves? If we did it ourselves, we'd save millions of dollars. With the county, we have to spend millions of dollars extra. It makes no sense. So why? Well, I'm trying to answer my own question. Why are we doing this? Well, when you look back in the history, it was only a couple of years ago that fireman after fireman got up at this podium and talked to the council. They even brought their family members to talk to the council. And what did they say? We can't eliminate engine 4. This would be terrible. We'd have less response times if we got rid of this engine. And now there's the same people are saying it's perfectly okay to get rid of 2 stations. 2 whole stations. That doesn't make any sense. It's an absolute contradiction. Hypocritical at best, an absolute lie at worst. And why are we doing this? There is a reason. I came up with a reason. When we eliminate Engine 4, some of our firemen lose overtime pay, because that's what actually happened when we eliminated Engine 4. So that's why we can't get rid of it. It had nothing to do with response time. If we go to the county, a lot of firemen will get a big pay raise. And it's a lot bigger than you might think. It's not just the big percentage about the higher salary schedule. In the county fire department, you can work as much overtime you want. There's lots of firemen in the county that earn over $100,000 a year in overtime. It's just the way they do things. So they have an opportunity for huge pay. But that isn't even the biggest one. Most of our older firemen can retire from the city of West Covina and earn a full pension, and then go and work for the county and earn a full salary. In the parlance of the trade, that is called double dipping. They just doubled their pay. So that's why we're talking about this. It's all about pay. It has nothing to do with our residents or the safety of our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Yusuf Arifin, followed by Brian Johnson, followed by James Toma.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yusuf Arifin. Nice to see everyone in person again. Over the past few meetings, you have been bombarded with form emails, and I and my fellow peers will attest to that and acknowledge our part in that endeavor. Now, speaking apart from the subjects of those emails, I just want to talk in defense of those form emails and tip sheets as an important tool in our toolkit of advocacy. I have only 2 points to justify such a thing. My first point is the difficulty of participating in local government. For one thing, speaking at these meetings and calling in has been absolutely nerve-wracking. You don't understand how nervous I am just right now speaking to all of you. It is intimidating, but participating all the less is important to me, and some may not be comfortable calling in or standing here like I am today. So participating through email is another form of participation. Is another form of participation that I believe is valid and is easily accessible for those residents who, 1, don't feel comfortable being up here, and 2, can't sacrifice a Tuesday night because of the job or school or whatever, but nonetheless want to be a part of the conversations happening in their city. Another point of difficulty is finding the right words to articulate your concerns. The things that are talked about here are important and complex issues that affect so many people. Some may have a concern but have no idea where to start. This is why many organizations create blast emails, call sheets, tip sheets, etc., to get their members to pressure whatever public officials to support whatever cause they may be fighting. At every facet of government, these forms of digital advocacy are used regularly. I think that's just how it is. I've sent many emails, signed many petitions, called public officials in support of a cause that I believe in, and I used their guide sheets to carry me through that process because I didn't know where to start. but I don't believe that because I had help and guidance that it waters down the validity of my concerns. I was compelled enough to add my voice to the matter, and I did it. My second point is that we did not make anyone send these emails. They shared the same beliefs we had and chose to send it themselves. They did it on their own, and for that I can't speak for them. They had their concerns, and I don't need to justify their beliefs as it is theirs, but I do applaud anyone who wishes to address their public officials at all. It's important, and I'll continue to do so, and hope to encourage others to do so as well. Hearing all of you speak about those form emails and tip sheets and the frustration and anguish you may have felt being bombarded by those emails affected me, and it made me question this tool in our toolkit of advocacy. But I believe these points justify this form of participation, as I believe, too, that the participation of any form is still better than no participation whatsoever. Sorry for using the word participation so many times. Finally, it's okay for us to disagree about the subjects of tip sheets, petitions, and form emails, but it's not okay to disagree with the validity of such forms of voicing one's own opinion. It's important no matter what package it comes in. Thank you very much for your time.
Good job. I have to say you're doing a good job. Yeah, hey, I'm nervous over here too. Don't worry, okay? I need to practice, okay? And next speaker, please.
Mayor, we're going to our callers. Our first caller is Brian Johnson, followed by James Toma, followed by Minerva Avila. Mr. Johnson, go ahead.
Hi, guys. I'll make this short. I just want to give a huge shout-out to West Covina Fire Department for putting out that fire last week at Gloucester Park. Also, I want to recognize the good job you guys did on the bond refi to save, I think it was over $52 million on the pension debt. Great job. Also, I've noticed the LED lights, the street lights. They're awesome. Feel a lot safer, especially out walking my dog. But thank you guys for all you do. Keep up the good work. Thanks a lot, guys. That's it. See you later. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Brian. Next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Mr. Toma, followed by Minerva Avila, followed by Ryan Deal. Mr. Toma, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is James Toma. I'm a former council member and mayor here in the city. I want to comment about the news that Councilman Johnson stated that he is bringing back a proposal to allow alcohol sales at gas stations. I want to also comment that what prior members of the public said, that expanding alcohol sales, at gas stations will not make our city a better place to live, and that this shouldn't be a priority during this pandemic. I also want to address just one of the false arguments that proponents have put forth, that this is a matter of equity for gas station businesses and owners. The city ordinance that prohibits alcohol sales at the gas stations has been on the books for decades. So other businesses who do sell alcohol have set up their businesses under those rules. Those businesses chose locations based on the law, knowing that gas stations were not going to be competitors. So you're now preparing to take sales revenue from one set of West Covina businesses to favor another group of businesses, and for suspect reasons. So I hope that Councilmember Johnson will not follow through with this. I believe Mayor Wu and Mayor Pro Tem Lopez Viado have stated that they are against this, and I hope that Council Members Castellanos and Shoemaker will change their minds regarding expanding the number of alcohol sales venues in our city. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Okay, next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Minerva Avila, followed by Brian Johnson, followed by Ryan Deal. Ms. Avila, go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Minerva Avila, a West Covina resident. I live in District 4. As you know, there is a group of young adults who have become actively interested in following city issues. I applaud their commitment to learn about what is going on in the city and their courage to voice their concerns. It takes courage to voice discontent, and yes, these young individuals have been very courageous. I applaud their parents for instilling in them the courage to speak up. I do not agree with everything these young residents propose, just like I do not agree with all the proposals of other residents with whom I have collaborated in the past. Defeating tax measure WC took putting differences aside and working with conservatives, progressives, and everyone in between. None of you on the city council, including those of you who claim to be firmly opposed to taxes, none of you joined us. I was offended 2 weeks ago when this council asked these young residents to stop sending emails. What those emails tell elected officials is either support or opposition to a particular issue. So if you feel your email boxes have been flooded with emails about a particular issue, then that should tell you the level of concern in the community. Instead of telling residents to stop emailing you like you did 2 weeks ago, council members should listen and pay attention to how many residents submitted concerns. I am speaking specifically regarding the 280 public statements you received in opposition to the extension of the purchase and sale agreement with Singpoli. 0 wrote in support. 0 wrote in support. Residents do not want that development. Every vote taken that gives Singpoli a green light is in fact a step closer to building a hotel at that site. I am glad that these young activists, and the older ones too, recognize this reality. I also want to clarify another issue from 2 weeks ago. I received a letter in mid-May which addressed me as dear patient from Councilman Castellanos' medical facility. I have never been to that medical facility. I was concerned why that facility would have me in their patient database. I called to find out. Councilman Castellanos explained his staff had made a mistake. He assured me he got my address from a marketing list and not his campaign mailing list. He even offered to share the list with me. I took him up on his offer. We ended the conversation cordially. I called once after to follow up on the list because I never received it. Councilman Castellanos went back on his word. He never gave me the list, and that was the end of that. In the future, please do not email me anything. I am bringing this up now only because at the last council meeting, Councilman Castellanos accused me of calling 2 of his businesses to harass staff. That is not true. Please, please stop mailing me anything. Like me, a young activist was mentioned by name by Councilman Castellanos for raising awareness about the development at BKK. I am thankful to that young activist and his group for raising awareness. I am grateful to the student journalist who wrote an article about the development at the BKK site in the West Covina High School newspaper. Everyone should read it. I am relieved information is getting out to the community. Thank you, young activists. Don't be disillusioned by the negative comments, attacks, and accusations by this city council. When they cannot address real policy issues, they will turn to personal attacks. Continue learning, raising awareness, and advocating. Thank you.
Thank you, Minova. Next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Ryan Deal, followed by Sam Wong, followed by Simon Wright. Mr. Deal.
Good evening, everybody. This is Ryan Deal. I just want to kind of set some positivity on one of the things I read back in July about what the city council did with that refunding the pension. I think it's a great idea, and it's good to see city leadership with like their head on a swivel, being proactive rather than reactive to certain events. So that's all I got to say. I got to get my kids to bed, but thank you very much. You guys have a great night. Be safe.
Yep, thank you. Okay, next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Mr. Sam Wong. Mr. Wong, please unmute yourself. Mr. Wong, please unmute yourself. There you go.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Wong, please unmute yourself.
Please turn off your TV.
There you go.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Mr. Wong, please unmute yourself. Please turn off your TV. There you go.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Please unmute yourself.
Good evening. Can you hear me again?
Yes.
Okay, good evening, honorable council members and honorable city staff. My name is Sam Wong, and I'm a retired senior. I've been a resident of West Covina for over 31 years. I'd like to go back in time of a meeting that was held on November 5th, 2019. 11 minutes into the meeting, my fellow resident, West Covina resident, Herb Redholz, spoke during the public comment segment. He said on the AM 570 radio sports commentator, a gentleman by the name of Petro Papadakis stated that the city of West Covina never cleaned our streets. Mr. Papadakis claimed that West Covina City has the dirtiest streets in LA County. During that meeting, Mr. Redholz requested that someone call the station with a rebuttal. And up to this point, no one has done that, which precisely brings me to my point. We do have the dirtiest streets in the city. I know that. I walk these streets daily, and I must have put in 100 miles a month since the pandemic. What I see in the city streets is appalling. I would see debris such as discarded masks, even empty tampon containers, empty potato chip bags, empty soda pop bottles. And let me remind you that I live in the borderline of Valinda, so that makes a difference. We have residents from Valinda that come into our city and dispose of their trash. Just this past Monday, I visited our maintenance department. To my astonishment, we only had 13 employees there. And this morning, I spoke to Mr. Mike Cressup, who's the superintendent. I found out that we had only 11 employees there. I think we got shortchanged in the contracts where the maintenance department is barely hanging on a thread. Is there any way possible that we can bring that up to par with the police department? That's all I ask, because what I see in the city street, I would like to see improvement. Towards the end of the last council meeting, the Honorable City Manager, Mr. David Carmody, mentioned there will be cuts in the city park maintenance program. Trash will not be empty as frequently. Has anyone thought about the possibility of an increase in our rodent population with all that food waste sitting in the trash cans? I think we can do better. Maybe we can find some money in the city budget to make up for the shortchange, since we found so much money for the police department. Another point I'd like to bring up is how we keep our sidewalk and streets clean if our landscape contractor blows all the trash and debris from one end of the street to the other. We need somebody in the city to look into the contracts with our landscape contractors. If you were to go to Woodgrove Park, you will see a massive buildup of debris and dead leaves accumulating not only in the streets, but in our storm drains, which is probably an offense in itself. I think we need to take the good suggestions and expand on them. I remember in the previous meeting, a fellow West Covina resident suggested solar panels for the BKK. Keep that in mind. I understand that the city of Baldwin Park, Pico Rivera, Whittier are in the power business. The city of Montebello just recently allocated $48,000 to conduct a feasibility study to go into the power business. Can we do that in West Covina? Give it a thought. We need to think outside the box. Anyway, thank you so much for your time and efforts and your patience.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sam. Okay, next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Simon Wright, followed by Frederick Sykes, followed by Ian Britt. Mr. Wright, go ahead.
Good evening. Members of council, calling to express my appreciation for your hard work and efforts to address our city's financial problems. You know, in this toxic political culture, we can get caught up in everyone's own agenda and bash our leaders about everything. But I think this council has done a great job during a COVID outbreak and after being dealt a financial crisis. I want to first recognize the outstanding work of refinancing the pension debt into a better rate, saving our citizens millions. Fantastic work. Secondly, the streets got some much needed attention, and I'm happy to say that it improves the value of our homes. I want to say thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you, Simon. Next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Frederick Sykes. Mr. Sykes. Mr. Sykes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, city staff, and members of the audience. I am Frederick Sykes, and I have lived in West Covina for 42 years, and I am also the former mayor of this city. I would like to applaud and thank the previous speakers, in particular those who spoke regarding the no alcohol sold in gas stations law. And this is in the memory of Forrest Emerson Wilkins. He lived from February 05, 1944 to March 07, 2020. The most important thing to know is that there is a significant number of residents who are in support of this law. Alcohol is a drug that alters your mind and relieves pain, and many people abuse it and cause problems. In the city of West Covina, there is no logical reason to increase the locations selling alcohol. And some of us also understand the quid pro quo of politics and what it can mean for the residents when we hear our city officials who are saying the phrase business friendly. The meaning of these phrases is in part why our city is virtually bankrupt and the residents are not able to get the best price for our trash service. In our circumstances of citywide sales of alcohol, combined with the history of alcohol, abolishing this no alcohol sold in gas stations law will not make our city safer or better. Plus, the state of California is already in the process of taking away our ability for the city to control how our land is used and how we live. Abolishing this law would give us less control, especially as it pertains to where and how many locations will be able to sell alcohol. Just walk any of our major streets and walk any street where there's a paseo or a park, you will see discarded alcoholic beverage containers along with other drug paraphernalia. There is clear evidence of people drinking in public and drinking while driving and using marijuana and other controlled substances in public. Walk into any city park or paseo, daytime or night, you will see people drinking alcohol and smoking drugs in clear view. And as you peruse our open spaces, you will see a lot of empty containers, deleterious materials, and related trash for everyone to see, as mentioned by the previous speaker. And leaving more trash and litter for volunteers and the city contractors to clean up. When gas stations first came to West Covina, they only sold gas and repaired vehicles. Then, because of greed, gas stations added car washes, food, and beverage markets. And when the city said no alcohol sales, they took the city all the way to the Supreme Court. That cost a lot of money and time to the residents. And they lost the case. The court ruled that the no alcohol in gas stations law is part of what makes West Covina West Covina. It is part of the standard of living and our quality of life. Our old rule has been allowed to stay in place, and other cities and jurisdictions cannot say no to these gas stations owners, but we can. Once we abolish this law, the court will not allow the city to bring it back, and we are the only city in the immediate vicinity that can still say no to these gas stations that are all over and all around our community. And that is the main reason why we should not abolish this law and throw away this very important tool of local control. The argument for more revenue for the city is ridiculous because the money from alcohol sales will be transferred from the liquor stores to and other places where our alcohol can be purchased. The gas station's gain will be the other alcohol sales outlets' loss. Abolishing this law would take away an important tool that helps control helps control the oversaturation of places to buy alcohol. It is common knowledge that controlling where alcohol and other drugs are sold is important to the health and safety of any community. Go to any town where there's a high crime and high rate of violence, you will also see too many locations to buy alcohol and drugs.
Thank you so much, Fred.
I saw this with my own eyes growing up in poverty and as a deputy sheriff of Los Angeles County. My friend and former LAPD motorcycle officer and former member of the West Covina School Board, Forrest Wilkins,
Fred,
would be speaking out against this matter.
Yeah, we got it. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Sykes, that is your 5 minutes allotted time.
Really appreciate it. We got the point. Okay, thank you so much, Fred. Thank you so much. Okay, next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Mr. Britt. Go ahead.
Good evening, council members. I'm a former resident who grew up in West Covina and recently moved back. So I've been listening in on these meetings for a little while now, and it's readily apparent that things are extremely difficult for everyone these days. It seems like we've all been caught between a rock and a hard place for the past several months, and the 2020 is definitely the worst year in history, probably dating back to when the asteroid came along and wiped out the dinosaurs. COVID's thrown a wrench into the gears of probably every business and government across the US, whether it's national, statewide, local. And in the case of our city, and probably just about every other city across the country, it's become crystal clear that if this pandemic hangs around for much longer, we're going to run into some serious budget issues. And right now, those budget issues are popping up with police and fire, from what I've heard. They both seem to be stretched pretty thin, and they're doing their best job to keep up. But it's obviously a difficult proposition with a constantly expanding tensions eating up just a huge chunk of their budgets. And in order to help relieve some of these budget constraints, it seems like the council made the correct decision in terms of refinancing the pension debt. I don't see how we can go wrong with saving the city over $50 million from the refinance. And I know everyone wants to throw shade at the council for what they've done, but I just want to make sure everyone's aware that this council has just absolutely nothing to do with the creation of that debt. They're simply just trying to reduce the cost going forward so that the city can continue meeting debt obligations without running out of money. And it seems pretty straightforward, and I think that they did a good job. So I just quickly want to say thank you to the city council members. I'm sure you don't hear it enough. People rarely get up and speak when they're happy. So it's just natural that you end up hearing what everyone says is typically going to be frustration or anger. And public service is tough. And at the end of the day, I can't say I envy what you guys are going through right now. And no matter what you do or how hard you try, there are going to be people in our community who are extremely unhappy with what's going on. And unfortunately, those voices are generally the loudest and sometimes pretty hurtful. So keep it up and don't let those people get to you. And to all the seniors out there, I just want to say stay safe. Make sure to wear your mask regardless of how uncomfortable and annoying they are. It sucks, but we're all in this thing together. And I'm really hoping that we can get through these tough times stronger and closer than before. And also maybe consider using this insane heat wave as an excuse to stay indoors and socially distance yourself. And finally, the real reason for my call. I came back here from Orange County not too long ago, and with all the gyms closed down and a huge desire, at least on my part, to have somewhere to go and work out outside, I've noticed that there are just no workout stations set up at any of our local parks. I've always loved how different cities in Orange County have embraced the outdoors by setting up workout stations at many of their parks. And these workout stations are fairly simple. They generally include pull-up bars, dip bars, ab crunch stations, maybe a few other cost-effective things. And I know it's obviously not the appropriate time to be asking for these to be implemented, and I'm not doing so right now with the current budget restrictions, but I just like to get the idea on the city's radar for when things do start to turn around and there is money in the budget again. These workout stations can be a great place for people to meet and connect, and if all goes well, create a little sense of community within our community. That's all, and thank you. I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Thank you, Brett. Okay, next speaker, please.
Mayor, that was our last speaker.
And audience, anyone to address to us? Peter, you here? Come over here. Say something. I don't mind you criticize me. Don't come. Yeah, come. No, Peter, you don't want to say anything? And Aaron, want to say something? Nothing today? Oh, my God. I'm not going to censor you. Come over here to speak. You can criticize me. I love it. Okay. No, not going to say. Anybody? Any taker? Jerry, here, come. Welcome. Have to say something. Would you please fill up the yellow card later on after you speak to us? Yeah, come. Yeah, and state your name, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lauren Thielen. I wanted to say something about Mitrice Richardson. So Mitrice Richardson attended South Hills High School, and then she went on to go to Cal State Fullerton, and she graduated with honors. So Mitrice Richardson, she went missing after the Lost Hills Sheriff's Station. They let her go in the middle of the night at 12 a.m. after they told her mom on record that they weren't going to let her go in the morning. And she was, they ended up finding her body 9 months later, August 9th. It's been 10 years since that. So I'm here today because I first heard about Mitrice's story as a college student in, I went to Citrus College. I'm now going to UCLA. One of my classmates talked about systemic racism and her individual experience. Mitrice was her cousin. They still don't know what happened to Mitrice. There's a lot of cover-ups. First, they didn't want to release the video, the sheriff's station, and Mitrice was a resident of West Covina, and it's just so heartbreaking because you could hear her mother's tone. She even told the sheriffs, I would hate for her to, be on the news, missing girl. And he was like, oh, no, we're not going to do that. So it's just, also Mitrice she was a black woman with mental health. They suspected that she was having a manic episode due to bipolar disorder. So I think that I wanted to say her name today and tonight and remember her memory because she was, this happened in 2009, and she was failed on so many levels, so I just wanted to put it in the record, Mitrice Richardson, that her life mattered and she should be here today.
Thank you so much. Very touching. Okay, really appreciate. Okay, anyone want to address the council?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
We had a caller by the name of Eddie Elder.
Yeah, go ahead.
He called and he wanted me to give his thoughts to the council that this is a great community that he lives in. He walks Cortez Park, and it's nice looking, that he has spoken with many policemen and that they are nice. And the streets near his house in South Hills are magnificent.
Oh, okay. I'm glad today we have so many positive. Oh, amazing. Okay. Oh, my God. Okay. And yeah, good job. Okay, and then it's balanced. Okay, we have both sides. Okay, and this is what politics is about. You will come to address to us. Okay, and anything we didn't do right, we want to correct ourselves. But this is something important for public to kind of address to us. We really welcome. But sometimes we make mistake. But sometimes we try to focus what I think is right. We think it's right. So anyway, really appreciate. And if no audience want to speak to us, I'm going to close oral communication. I'm going to move to city manager. Can you address some issue? And one I concern the most is regarding a dirty street. Okay, and in that one we need to address. and the public worker, okay, can we have enough staff? Because 2 years ago, okay, previous, council and the layoff, okay, and 22 of our public worker staff, okay, so we might have some issue we're suffering right now. So address, okay, some of the concern. Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I would like a chance to just recap some of the comments. We had a number of speakers tonight. I appreciate them all, but we had, I believe, 5 or 6 speakers make comments about the proposed zoning law changes pertaining to the possibility of the zoning ordinance being amended to allow the sale of alcohol at gas stations. That's certainly within the subject matter jurisdiction of this council, but it's not on your agenda tonight. So we're not going to talk about it tonight. I think we'll get in trouble with the city attorney. But the point to be made is that that's coming back to you on September 1st. It's a several-step process. September 1st would represent your opportunity to consider whether you wish to refer that to the Planning Commission for a public hearing or not. Assuming you do, it would then have a hearing in front of the commission and return to you for a public hearing at this body. So that's going to take several steps and several weeks before you get to a point where you're able to make a decision about that either way. I also wanted to say thanks. I think I counted 5 speakers tonight who gave kudos for a number of things. Pension refinancing and streetlights and street pavings, and it was overwhelming. So thank you for those compliments. It was nice. One of the speakers, Mr. Bennett, also talked about the transaction with Queen of the Valley Hospital, which is on your agenda later tonight for your consideration, and some of the escrow documents. But he referenced the possibility of the general fund being paid back, which is something I'm definitely going to follow up on and research, because the general fund needs money to fund all manner of services this year. The budget is stretched thin, and I'm going to research that. I'll follow up and report back to council about it. And the one comment I wanted to also focus on was from Mr. Wong, who talked about the streets being dirty and with debris. It's something that definitely needs attention. Our public services maintenance crew, contract street sweeping, all of those services are underfunded and not to standard. It's not a point of pride at all. It's not a triumph of city administration. The street sweeping is our one best management practice that we have to keep all of those things from going into the San Gabriel River and down the river to the ocean at Seal Beach. And so we really, once the budget comes back, need to focus on street sweeping. And we need to also focus on some of the ones that were the last fired in the last round of budget cuts, which is our maintenance division. I think the council is keenly aware that those might have been the last fired, but we hope to make them the first rehired. I'd like to get that staffed up again as soon as the budget turns around. This year, we're just trying to hold our own and get through it. I think it's a kind of a mantra. We've got a balanced budget. It's underfunded in a number of areas, but maintenance is certainly something that we need to pay more attention to, and we'll try and find monies as opportunities arise, be it with grants or other things. But I couldn't agree more that we need to pay attention to that, and I'll follow up with Mr. Wong.
Okay, very good. Then we move to, manager report, please.
I do have just a few items to update the council and the community about tonight. Thank you, Paulina. This is a little one we thought would be easy and snowballed and proved to be a little harder, but I'm proud to announce that we're now accepting online payments for things like building permits and charges that are owed the city. Kind of the general reaction I've been getting for the last year or so from the development community is they're kind of surprised that the city will only take checks. And so we're now allowing electronic presentment. You can find it on our finance department website under How Do I, and click on pay and we'll make it happen for you. So it's a happy little moment. I mentioned grants. The next 2 slides highlight a couple of those. I think I reported to council that we got a state grant, a LEAP grant, to rewrite entirely the city zoning ordinance. The state of California has been using a lot of sticks and very few carrots to encourage local governments to streamline development processes. The city zoning ordinance has been on the books since 1977, and so it is archaic and it needs to be rewritten. We think that we can cut some of the city's development processes in half in terms of time. And in the development business, time is money. We can streamline and we can add certainty to the process for people that want to follow the rules here. And so that's a process by which we're going to get out immediately to search for a consultant-facilitated process so we can get to community meetings, so we can get in front of the Planning Commission with a new zoning ordinance. It's going to take 18 months. It's going to take a couple of years to get all the way through that, but that's a big step forward for the community. Next slide. We just got word of some new state park monies that are going to come our way, available to cities like West Covina in urbanized areas, mainly on a per capita basis, but it's for things like local park rehabilitation and improvement grants. And I can tell you, we've got plenty of projects that could stand an immediate infusion of some capital money to get to standard. The next slide is just a very brief update. Council, you may recall a couple meetings ago you approved a cooperative project for a border traffic signal with the city of Walnut. It's underway. Our tentative schedule is mapped out here for you. We're going to be into design and bidding phase starting August and taking through the end of this calendar year. One of the biggest tent poles in the PERT chart, the long lead times, is for the material delivery. These traffic signal poles aren't really custom because they're pretty much the same wherever you go, but they're definitely made to order, and with some commodity shortages of steel, et cetera, it's going to take a while, but we hope to have that signal operational by June of next year. We, in response to all these COVID restrictions, have now got available online where businesses can submit applications to move out into the parking lots for whatever their business activities might be. This happens to show Vincenzo's restaurant. I can vouch that they're doing a nice job in the parking lot. They framed it with trees. They framed it with K-rails. And this is an approved outdoor dining area. We really hope that our residents would continue to support our local businesses and the wait staff and the servers, et cetera. We are going to be installing on Glendora Avenue some K-rails according to a plan. Some of the cities have, I think, erred by allowing things to encroach in the public right-of-way without proper barricading, and so I promise you we're going to do it correctly. Our traffic engineer, who happens to be here tonight for one of the agenda items, deserves credit for giving us a plan that was able, she could stamp it for us, and then once stamped, we'll put the barricades up and be able to block off those areas on Glendora. And then lastly, I wanted to make mention, we're continuing to cancel public gatherings, including this year's National Night Out, which would normally be on your calendar for October, but we're going to pull the plug on it and we plan to not do that this year. That's all I've got this evening. Thank you.
I'm so disappointed. I'm the mayor, though. I cannot have a night out. I hate the pandemic. Okay, it looked like I missed all the action. But one thing is this: I really want to thank city managers. Okay, a lot of good things happening, including helping our small business restaurant. I think that's important for them to survive because we need to extend our hand to help those things. And I want to really thanks regarding the La Puente Road. That is like everybody driving so fast due to they don't have in between. Okay, from Central to I think Lemon. Okay, and that is West Covina and cross street. That's Warner and the county. So this is a major issue. I think people living on that street has been complaining for 20 years. This has become extremely dangerous for them to pull out because still residential in the very busy La Puente Road. So I want to thank city manager continue to push to install the traffic signal. Hopefully we can get it done before the end of this year. Okay, I know we only have a couple months to go, and so maybe in the May of Letty Lopez, okay, finish at your time. Okay, so other than that, I think it's a lot of things we will continue to push to improve our city. So I want to thank you and continue to give us a good news for a manager report. And other than that, I want to move to consent calendar. Okay, 1 to 10. I want to pull number 7. And any other city council want to pull anything?
I wanted to pull number 9.
Pull number 9. So I have a motion to approve. Okay, item number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, A. And that's it. Okay. Do I have a motion to?
I make a motion.
Yes. Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve item number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 from Councilman Johnson and second by Councilman Cassiano. A roll call, please.
Councilman Castellanos.
Aye.
Councilman Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Shoemaker. Aye. Mayor Pro Tem Lopez Viado.
Aye.
Mayor Wu.
Aye, and the motion approved 5-0. Then we move to item number 7. I think number 7 is regarding the Queensville Valley. Okay. Hey, welcome back. Yeah, we've been in your hospital donate a lot of PPE, right? I want to thank you helping us. Okay. But here's the business. And I remember not too long ago, 9 months ago, last year, when we approved your CEQA, and you told me you want to close within 30 days. So I want to know how soon we can close, because I think city really want, and this your expansion. We support that. So would you please come up, and Paulina, you want to make a presentation or what? Yeah, you can go ahead. Do we need a presentation?
It's up to you.
No? Okay, so I think it's a concern for me. The reason I pull is, and I remember we have a conversation, Chuck, right?
Yep, yes.
Chip, okay, yes. I remember we've been talking about when to donate the PPE and when to donate the N95, right? I've been seeing you so many times for all those, you saw it, all those, and Lions Club and the private sector and nonprofit, and we went to Queensville Valley. We even donate 250 mil, for your doctor and, nurses for first liner. So we are 100% support, Queensville Valley and, Emanate, health group. Okay, you are one of our first, employment, and not only that, you are the big hospital. We love you, but at the same time, we want you to love us back. So why we're not 30 days? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for the help in getting all those masks. We've hopefully protected a lot of our nurses and staff, and we continue to fight the war with COVID and still need more and more supplies, PPE.
You still need PPE?
Yeah, always.
Really? I can still give to you. You see all those very generous group, they still willing. I still receiving people say, hey, Mayor, you still need PPE? If you still need it, I tell them we can.
We're always looking for more.
You are very greedy.
Thank you much. Okay. Yes. Okay, in regards, yes, we're, as you know, we've expended a lot of money with the $500,000 loan. We've got in the deposit, and we've put in over about $200,000 to $300,000 in cleaning up that property and the blight and everything else. So we have done all our due diligence. We have everything completed. This was submitted July 21st. We were hoping to be on the August 4th council meeting so we can move ahead. So we need to move forward on this. We are ready to, move forward on the close as soon as we can get your approval, the council's approval on accepting this agreement. Okay. Now, we did stipulate in a real world, we needed 180 days just because I'm going through one right now at a purchased property up in Glendora, and the back and forth with COVID and everything, and you get the attorneys involved, and you get 2 weeks of transactions just there. So, but we're ready because we have plans drawn. As soon as we have the property in our possession, we want to submit that to the plan review, City of Covina, West Covina, because that's the hinge pin for us to move forward with our master plan project. We are ready to move. So once we get that the park in our possession, we'll submit those. Hopefully we'll get a quick expedited plan review so we can get that property down, then we can really start rolling and break ground between December and April of next year on 2 of our major projects, the $60 million MOB and the $60 million ED ICU. But yes, we're ready to roll.
I want to break ground when I still mayor. I'm so disappointed that you are going to delay to next year. Then I will be just a councilman. and I've been waiting for.
We'll all be invited to the grand opening.
I've been waiting for 4.5 years after we city resident vote to give you this major expansion. As 4.5 years ago.
Yep.
And 9 months ago, last year, we approved the CEQA, and you said, hey, Tony, we're going to close 30 days, right? I still vividly remember. No, we're going to approve, but my problem, my issue is you already have 4.5 years. Okay, what's wrong to close 30 days? Okay, I want to amend it for 30 days for you to close.
We had a lot of due diligence on that property. There has been a lot of different owners, and there are wells
you
there
already
and
have
easements.
You already have 4.5 years to smooth iron all this wrinkle. So I don't think you need another 60 days or 70 days for 180 days, because 180 days is meaning you can max out to 6 months. So meaning in 2022, even might turn up, okay, maybe you're still waiting for another 6 months. Okay, again, we want to help you, okay, Queensville Valley, and to get this beautiful expansion of an emergency room. I told you the story. My father, before he passed away, we went to your emergency room for 5 times back in 1999, 1998. Okay, so I know, and it hasn't been improved. Okay, so we really, and all the residents willing to give you that park in a very good price. So I just want to help you to kind of give you a little bit, okay, push to get this thing done so you can start breaking the ground. This is from my seat. So in that way, I don't know other city council, any other question? Okay, no question? Okay, have you question? Okay, no question. Lloyd, your question? Jessica, do you have any question for Chip? My new best friend?
I do not have any questions.
No, okay, no. So anyway, the only issue I have is the time. The rest is done. Okay, Sequoia's
do it as fast as we can possibly do it. You know, that's.
Can we shorten the time? Can we shorten the 180 day? 180 days is 6 months.
I think it'll happen a lot less than that. You know, as long as we can get.
Can we shorten the time?
Titles and the title companies. And everything.
I'm in the real estate business.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Okay, I understand. You really don't need 180 days. I know you want some kind of safe. You want to buy, we already give to you. You already transfer into a parking lot already. So you really want the land. So what I'm saying is this, can you shorten the time? Can we find a shorter time so the city feel like you're sincere and you feel like you're okay? Okay, can you go 60 days?
Oh, I think it'll be less than 60 days. You know,
so can we
the uncontrollables that I can't control.
I know, but if you cannot control, I can give you extension.
Yeah.
So can we do 30-day escrow? And if you need it, you can come back to us and say, hey, we got a surprise.
Well, I think we made our statement. You know, we're going to do this within 30 days, but we are taking the exercise and the option for the 180-day, which gives us that. You know, I don't want to default on days 35.
You're not going to default, okay?
That's the plan.
We want the expansion. We're really looking for 4.5 years already. We really want the hospital to be a great hospital in San Gabriel Valley, okay? The only worry I have is because it's been 4.5 years, I really don't think this 6 months is needed, okay? We really hope you can do it like 60 day or, okay, close escrow. Close escrow, okay, you ready to rock and roll.
180 days is only 3 months, right? 6 months. Excuse me. We don't need 6 months. You know, 30 days.
You don't need 6 months, then we amended your contract to less than 6 months. Can you do that? I'm going to amend it.
If you amend it, we're going to lose 2 more days, which we had 30 days to sign this off, and we got to start all over again.
We say we give you 30 days, but maybe 60-day escrow.
Like I say, we're going to do it in 30 days, 35 days. I just need the time in case 30 days doesn't happen. I need the extra.
I know, Chip, last time you told me 30 days, and it's already 8 months ago.
Mayor Wu, come on, let's just do
come
it
on,
for
Chip.
30 days.
I've been giving you so many PPE. Help me out over here.
I'm just trying to protect ourselves so we don't default in 30 days.
You won't default.
That's all I'm trying to do.
Okay, thank you, Chip. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, so right here, I want to amend it, okay, for 30 days, but not 180 days. I want the 60 day, okay, escrow. Okay, so do I have a second?
If we take it to the attorneys, we're going to lose.
Yeah, do I have a second? No, don't worry. If no second, then I fail. Do I have a second? 1, 2, 3, no. So you get your way. I'm just one man. Okay.
We want to win-win. We're going to get it done.
You better get it done.
I
will be nip your butt. Okay, I will be behind you, always neck on you, say where is closed, where is closed.
Pauline and I are going to work at it. We're going to get it done.
You better do it. But Chip, if you need more PPE, let me know. I can get to you.
Mr. Mayor, I will tell Chip anything you need from us. Please let us know. We're here for you. We want to make it happen as much as you do. So. Let's get it done.
And we want to be a good neighbor, and we're going to make this place shine.
I want a good partner with City.
Yes.
Even we gone, I want you to have a good partnership because we will be open.
Yeah.
Would you please have
I think we have that working.
Emanate, okay, a group to have a kind of like Kaiser, they always have a PR, always talk to us, always help with CT, always communicate with us. Right. And we don't have that same treatment from Queensville Valley or from Emanate, okay? And I hope you can bring back to tell the PR group to kind of work with CT. We have event in the future after pandemic or anything you need help. CT, you can see we have a lot of resource. So we can step in to help you, but we need the partnership. We need the communication. Currently, I feel like we don't have a communication. Okay. Right? Only time I talk to you, okay, is about PPE. But how about some other stuff you can help? We can CT and Queensville Valley or Emanate can be really close to each other, help each other.
Well, my phone's always available to you. You know, give me a call if you have any information.
You say, what can I do for the city? Let's do something for the city, for the school, okay? And when you want to have event for our public safety, we welcome. But I hope you can invite the city manager or city council to attend with you guys.
Oh, we've been doing a lot of that. I think we had a lot of drive-thrus with the police department, the fire department. We all had a lot of collegiality. They helped put us. We had a parade back, early March, April, right before COVID. Yes. We had a wonderful time.
Yeah, you had a wonderful time, and we've been donating a lot of mail, a lot of things. So we're really supporting you. I think it's important for all the frontliners know. Okay, our city, our residents supporting our medical staff. Okay, and not only you, including the Kaiser too, because in our emergency or other facility in our city and helping our resident health. Thank you, Chip. Okay, do I have a motion to approve on the item number 7?
Thank you,
Mr. Mayor. I make a motion to approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve. Councilman Johnson, and the second by Councilman Casiano. Okay, and will be as is. Okay, like what on the item. Okay, mine has no second, so mine is dead. Okay, so do I? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Castellanos.
Aye.
Councilman Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Shoemaker. Aye. Mayor Pro Tem Lopez Viado.
Aye.
Mayor Wu.
Aye. Okay, so 5-0. You're lucky. Okay. Okay. I almost say no. Okay, but 5-0 approved. Move on item number 9, please. I scare you, right, Chip?
Good evening, Mayor Wu, honorable council members. I'm Mike Cressup, Public Services Superintendent here for the City of West Covina. I'm up here to talk about a consideration of an amendment for our landscaping contract for our parks and our civic center. Following the City Council's declaration of a fiscal emergency, the city management asked staff to work with all contracts and contractors to reduce contracts by 5 to 10% due to the fiscal emergency. We went back and worked with merchants and came up with savings by doing the following things: suspending all fertilizer, turf, and shrub applications, suspending turf renovations, suspending mulch replenishing. This is the hard part, reducing trash pickup to 2 days a week. When we went into this contract, we went from 2 days a week to 7 days a week, and that was one of the biggest and best things that we had done, and it was very effective and working really well in our parks. But that was what we would have, to make it work for both parties. That was something we had to consider. Changing shrubs, ground cover, and weed control maintenance to an 8-week cycle, and change edging and weed eating detail work to bi-weekly instead of weekly. By doing this, we reduced the contract by $10,963 a month for a potential annual savings of $131,556 per year. As I stated, the largest impact was the trash pickup. That was something we worked hard for in the last contract. That's something we knew that the residents wanted. That's something that we want. And unfortunately, the merchants couldn't make it work. There was no way to get rid of costs without getting rid of a crew, and the crew took care of that. Another big piece of this was picking up our trash enclosures. Illegal dumping is a problem we have at our trash enclosures, and merchants' crew was picking up on Mondays and Fridays all of our large bulky item pickups at our enclosures to make sure that Athens could pick up and dispose of our trash in a timely manner. Since then, we've worked with Athens to try to curb some of that, and Athens has been working with us to help with the dumpster issue and the illegal dumping. So we've gotten some relief there. But the main the main component of this where we're feeling it is the actual trash pickup. This contract is a 30-month contract. We went for 2.5 years to stay on a fiscal year cycle. The annual contract is $778,488. So it is one of our largest contracts, and something we had to look at. So obviously, we hope when the pandemic's over and we're out of this fiscal crisis that we can go back to regular service. But at this time, due to the financial situation, this is something that we were directed to do. So. Do you have any questions?
Oh, yeah, I do. I actually have a problem with this because I do work at parks, and some of the same issues do occur. My issue is, we hold our residents and business to a standard of keeping their properties clean. So I feel like our city needs to do the same with our parks and public areas. The other things, I don't mind. I know you listed a few different things to suspend, reduce, or change. I actually don't mind certain items to be suspended, but my issue is cuts that make our parks just visually unkept in appearance is just unacceptable. I'm not expecting it to be immaculate, perfect or anything, but I just don't want it to I don't want it to become an eyesore, anybody driving or walking or anything. And I do know the biggest thing is like trash and overgrown weeds are two of my biggest concerns because we had some cuts at our parks as well at work. So I know the trash Monday and Friday pickup is unacceptable when I know Thursdays usually they start coming in, start making trash, but the biggest ones is usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So when I go back to work on Monday, it's like it's a mess. And I could imagine it's the same with all our parks here. So the trash pickup, I do have a problem with. I can't accept that. The changing, edging and weed eater detailing to be biweekly, I'm okay with that. At my home, I do biweekly. My neighbor does it weekly. Residents who pass by, they don't really see the big change and difference in that. So that I actually don't mind. But the biggest thing is the trash pickup that I have a problem with. Thank you for taking care of the legal dumping. I don't know what it is, but every park has that. They just trash their stuff there. I mean, we closed our containers. We did different things, but that seems to be a biggest issue. If you could catch them, cite them. But overall, I can approve with the reducing the trash pickup because that's the biggest issue, especially when we have transients there who leaves a mess sometimes. I just can't allow that.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez Viado, just to be clear, I completely understand the points you bring up. It's not something we're happy about, but the thing that I do want to make clear is that the savings is the trash pickup. All the biweekly, the turf renovations, there is not much savings there. So if it causes a burden all the way around, we want the residents happy, we want you happy. Every point you made is valid, but the only way we could get to any amount of savings was cutting that because it's a 3-man crew that was working 40 hours a week that is suspended now. So that was a 3-man crew going to every park doing that and doing those things. And without that, the savings, just so you're aware, the savings will not be there. It's not like we can come back and say, okay, it's all a cart, we take this. The big portion of savings is the trash pickup.
Well, we have at work, we have part-timers where they reduced it where we have part-timers do their rounds. Is that something that they can consider as well?
Well, it's definitely something that can be considered, but currently we have a very minimal part-timers working. Most of our part-timers have been off work since March. So it is something that can be considered, but at this time, we do not have part-timers working.
And from 7 days to 2 days, there's no way to increase the days?
Not without increasing the work crew, because they can't have for merchants and their how their contract is structured. We sat down and haggled over this for quite some time because we knew it wasn't an easy decision, and they're saying without the crew they can't do it. To get the savings, they had to let the crew go.
I just can't accept that part just because of the trash. I just don't want our city to look like trash. So,
listen, I'm taking phone calls. I'm fielding phone calls every day. We're getting, the app is working great. The stuff's coming in. This is not a decision that we took lightly or something we even do. The hope is that, like I said, that we're out of this pandemic quickly and we're back to a normal contract and giving the service to the residents that they deserve.
Councilman Castellano, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mike, for the report. Would there be any possibility of service groups, local service groups, or charities, or anything along those lines to help us with this, or would that present too much risk and liability?
We do have certain groups helping, but with the pandemic and social distancing and people out at the parks, it's not an easy topic. Our service groups here in the city are fantastic. From Lions Club to West Covina Beautiful, all of them have a park, adopt the park, and take care of those parks, and they come in one day a week and do a great job. During the week, it's the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are the tough parts. Saturday is usually okay days. Sundays are tough. As Letty, you work at parks, the groups are great. They come in on those days and they do those things. But with the pandemic, we've been limited on what we can allow them to do, and gathering is a little bit tougher than usual. So it hasn't been as simple as before. I think there definitely is help with that. Our groups have shown the willingness to help, but during the pandemic, there's been difficulty.
Yeah, I know it's been real tough. I want to thank Athens, too, for stepping up. And you and I have discussed this problem, and I'm just trying to think outside the box, see what else we could come up with. So I'll keep thinking. Our mayor will be having a conversation with Grace Napolitano coming up soon, so we'll see if there's any federal help we could obtain. We'll also check with our state leaders and the county, and I'll talk to some friends and community members and see if we could help in any way, and I'll let you know. I know this is a tough situation, but thank you, Mike, for all the work you're doing on it.
Okay, Jessica, do you have any question? Jessica?
No, I don't.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So this contract would only be for 1 year, correct?
Well, our hope is to get out of this as soon as possible. I mean, we're hoping once revenues start coming back in, we can get back. I just gave you the number. Potentially, it's a potential savings for the entire year. Obviously, we can change at any time once revenue allows.
And currently, right now, how does our parks look? And do we have any issues? I know they're not supposed to be at the parks. They're not supposed to use the playgrounds. Granted, everywhere you go, they do. You can't prevent that. It happens. But currently, is it in disarray? How does the parks look currently?
No, I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Beata Lopez. It's not as good as we'd like. Obviously, we're trying to get our staff out as much as we can, make sure we hit all big issues, but we do not have the manpower to deal with our streets and sewers and go clean parks every day. We did keep the bathrooms intact, the park bathrooms, the contract for the park bathrooms and around the park bathrooms and the playgrounds is intact, but the entire park is not. I'm sorry, it's a loaded question. It's not something I'm responsible for.
My question is there a trash issue currently, since technically we don't have like group birthday parties or events or anything?
Our parks are utilized. I mean, our residents love our parks and they love our open space and they take advantage of it every day, pandemic or no pandemic, from day one. So,
is the trash still a big concern?
Yes, it is.
I have to follow Mayor Pro Tem, regarding the concern, and I have people complaining about Friendship Park, Friendship Park and the South Side, and I've been receiving email like it's really not in good shape. And we have 16 parks, and the resident living in the city beside the safe neighborhood, is a nice and clean parks. So I think it's important, and we have to find some funding, city manager. I really cannot have our park look filthy and trash all the places and with nobody to pick it up. Can we need to think something that maybe hire some, if we compare with $120,000 saving a year, meaning about $10,000 a month saving, is that what they compare with a clean park? And pick up the trash, clean the bathroom. I think this is a very minimal, our resident request, and the people pay taxes, they have a nice park, I really cannot, accept we have to compromise a filthy park meaning a filthy city. You have dirty street and dirty park, unacceptable. West Covina better than that. I think we can make sure I think most of our streets pretty clean. So it's only the people park all the time. And the sweeper cannot sweep Other than that, I've been driving, and I've been always report to you our island with a week going on, and you take care right away. I think you've been doing a good job. But I don't think I can accept. Okay, I want to concur with Mayor Pro Tem regarding, okay, we need to have a clean park, no matter it's pandemic or not. It's no excuses. Okay, keep the park nice and clean. Okay, and we just have to find a way to show. Okay, if we let go of the park, then we let go of what? We let go of everything. I think this is a basic thing. We need to show people we care about residents, we care about the park, and we want our park clean and make sure the trash be picking up. If we only have 2 days, then we have 5 days. Okay, it's a mess. Okay, and we need sometimes. Okay, and we need for people to pick up, or our public work staff to step in. Okay, this is for me. I cannot accept this thing. I will say no on this contract. Okay, I really want to look into what we can work on it. Okay, and find a way. Okay, to make sure our part is presentable. And this is my say. Okay, any other city council? Go ahead.
And I do understand, Mike, the situation. You know, and I try to keep a close eye on Del Norte Park. Trash pickup even double, even if not 7 days a week, maybe at least 4 days a week. The other day, I don't mind picking up something that, because if you only pick a trash days a week out of 7, those trash cans all are going to overflow. And I've gotten out there before when they door, and I've actually taken black plastic bags out there, and put the trash in, and I take them to the yard and dump them myself. So I'm just saying, I don't mind going out when I can, but at least every other day, I think that would help. So that's my.
Thank you, Councilman Johnson. I think it's okay. I will. City Manager, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Well, I feel like, if I may, I need to apologize to Mike, because I've given him a really hard assignment here. If the question is becoming whose bad idea was that, it's mine. I've asked staff to take 5 to 10% budget reductions to all of our vendors. I've made some of those phone calls, and a number of our vendors have just done so immediately and willingly and cheerfully. I'd like to name them. Wildan, Transtech. They just came forward right away with cuts in this range, and they took it out of their profits. With this vendor, we gave Mike a hard assignment, and the only way he could get the reductions was by taking service reductions. But I hear you. So if you're not inclined to approve this amendment, maybe you could just pull it off the calendar tonight. Let me work on it some more.
Yeah, I think let's pull it, okay, and let's send back, okay, to renegotiate, to find a way. We want a clean park. Okay, if we don't have a clean park, why are we sitting over here? Okay, we represent residents, we want to have a clean parks. Okay, I think this is important. People walk on the park, want to feel safe and clean and proud. Okay, and I think this is something important. This pride has to be continued to be, kept. Okay, I think let's pull it. Okay, and the city, council, you agree? Let's do it. And you okay? So Jessica, you okay? Let's pull this for city to continue to work on it. We really want our parks clean. Okay, so anyway, you okay? Okay, so it's a 5-0. Let you pull it so we can please, work out something. We want our park clean, please. Okay, and unless it's a very minimum. Okay, I think resident want. Okay, thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you, Mike Cressup, for a lot of. I know I get emails, and I do forward, and you take care of everything for our residents concerned. So I just want to say thank you for all your help. Thanks.
Well, it's not just me. I have a good team that's working behind me, and we'll continue to do everything we can.
No, you've been doing a good job. Okay, we really appreciate when we received the email. Okay, and complaining about the park, this issue. And would you please look into all the park, including the Friendship Park in the south side? And they are at the end of our city border. Okay, need some attention. Okay, and so in that way, everybody, all the parks, those have been taken care of.
Not to get off track here, but I do anticipate an improvement at Friendship Park. The issue we had at Friendship in Shadow Oak was rogue groups coming and using our facilities without letting us know. But now that the county's lightened up restrictions, we're working on getting our groups back there so we know who's there, keep them accountable, sign county order, and make sure they're following social distancing guidelines. So
And
an improvement there.
just want to say, commend you to respond to our email right away and talk to the resident right away. And I think this is what resident want. Okay, they have an issue, and you step in. Okay, we email to you. You step in right away. So thank you, Mike. Okay.
Not just parks, but for the public areas in the cities.
I say
Thank
something,
you.
Mike?
Go ahead.
Mike, personally, I want to thank you. You know, I get in touch with you all the time with the issues with the residents. Today, we had an issue with one of the residents about a tree that was bad, the roots up in the grass and everything else. Mike went out today and they marked the tree. So I'm saying, you know, he does respond. He's very active. He gets back to the council members whenever we send you something. You get back to us right away. And I personally want to thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'll continue to do the best I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
By the way, don't get too cocky. We give you, comment. Okay, we like you, but continue to do the good job. Okay, appreciate. Okay. Okay, now we move to the item number 10. Okay, it's a public hearing. Okay, public hearing considerations of adoptions of amended fee for grading plan review and grading permit fee. Okay, this matter set for public hearing is for the adoption of an amended fee for grading plan review and grading permit pursuant to resolution number 2020-92. And will city clerk verify the proper legal notice have been given?
It's been given.
Thank you so much. Okay, city clerk. Okay, at this time, I shall open the public hearing on this amendment of an existing fee for grading plan review and grading permit pursuant to resolution number 2020-92. And there will first be the presentation of the staff report. Then we shall, hear comment from the public. Okay, and city manager who will present the staff report, please.
This report will be given by our Assistant City Manager, Mark Persico.
Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. A little bit of background. The City Council adopted new fees in December of 2019. It was based upon the county's fee schedule. This was both for planning and, for building and grading out of public works. It very quickly became apparent to us that the county's fee schedule didn't quite fit the city's needs. The current minimum fee for a grading project is 10,000 cubic yards, which is the construction of anywhere between about 5 and 10 houses. The county's fee schedule didn't really fit the needs for smaller projects. So what we've done is gone back and fine-tuned it and reduced the fees for smaller projects. For subdivisions and development projects, large scale, will still continue to pay the fees based upon the county's schedule, but we've come in with a finer number of permits, much smaller permits. We now have permits of starting at 100 cubic yards and going up. What that means is for a typical single-family house, which is about 1,000 cubic yards, the new fees, if they're adopted by the City Council, will be $2,855 for both a plan check and a permit fee. The city will still be covering its costs for all projects related to subdivisions and large-scale projects. The changes reflect the reality of smaller projects in the city. And I did hand out and post on the city's website a revised Exhibit A. There were some minor discrepancies in what was in the original packet and what the council's being asked to adopt tonight. Staff is recommending that the City Council adopt Resolution 2020-89, and if it is adopted, the new fees would go into effect within 60 days. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Okay, and council, any question? No question, then no question. Jessica, any question? No. Okay.
No question.
Councilman Casiano, go ahead.
Just want to thank city staff for bringing this forward. I think this provides an easier platform for smaller developments, and it's a good thing. So thank you.
Jessica, do you have any issue, question? No? No, okay. And I'm going to open the public comment. Do we have any people want to speak on this issue?
No, Mayor, I have no speakers.
And the resident over here, somebody want to address about this issue? No? No? Okay, I'm going to close oral communication or comment on this issue, bring back to council to discuss. Council, any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
As I mentioned, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think this is a good thing. It provides an easier path for developers, and so I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, and I have a motion moved by Councilman Casiano. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a second by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez Viado. Roll call, please.
Councilman Castellanos?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilmember Shoemaker?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez Viado?
Aye.
Mayor Wu?
Aye, and the motion approved 5-0. Then we go to the AB 1234 conference and meeting, and I hope we can have that. Okay, but we're still in pandemic, so we don't. Okay, now we go to the council request report and study. Do we have any, Mother May I? No, and do we have any comment from council?
Mr. Mayor.
Which one want to go first?
I don't care.
Okay, and okay, Councilman Johnson, go first.
I just want to make a comment that, we hear a lot about our police department. And a couple days ago, there was an accident over there on Bromley Street. Where it was a hit and run. They had a Volkswagen going down the street, probably about 50, 60 miles an hour, ran into the back of a truck. And the guy got in his car, somebody picked him up, and they took off. Well, it took about an hour for our police department to get out there because it was a non-emergency, nobody was, and then residents were really getting upset about it. Well, we had two officers that show up. One was one of the officers, I forget what her last name was, but she'd only been on the department for about a year or so. She explained to the residents why it took them so long. She says, we only have 90 police officers and only a few of us are on duty at one time, and we were in the pursuit of someone else, but we got over here as soon as possible. But the residents themselves were so happy that an officer of her caliber actually explained to them the reason why they weren't there earlier. And I just wanted to commend our police department for that, and just wanted to say thank you to them. That's all.
Okay, Councilman Johnson, good job. Okay, and I think we all support our police department doing a good job. Okay, Councilman Casiano, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, again, I wanted to thank Athens for stepping up in the park issues. I also want to thank all the callers today and all the residents who came to speak. A lot of issues to discuss and probably will continue for the months to come. So thank you guys again for calling in, and for everyone out there at home, please stay cool and stay away from this virus. Stay safe.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, okay, Lady Lopez Viado.
I was going to say, I understand that we have a thankless job. People are very quick to attack us, to give us all the complaints, to hear everything when we do well. It's usually silent. So I did want to say thank you to the callers that called in, say something good. Even when I get a simple email as well, thanking the council for, one small act of deed that goes a long way for me personally. So I do want to say thank you for that. It's nice to actually hear and be reminded of the good things. Also, I don't know if this is Mother Mayor, I'm just going to push again, but I really want our city website to be updated, the links to be working. So that would be my Mother May I request, to get our website, if you need to get somebody to fix it, put it where it's easy access for any residents or anybody outside to access to navigate. The navigation is the key, and the links, and just to update for all the things. So other than that, I have nothing else, but I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Okay, and here, I don't know, okay, we have a heat wave going on. The city have a place for, because a lot of senior or a lot of, fixed income people have potentially. Can city look into it? Can we do something? Okay, if we have a sanctuaries for people to come into, before we have a library. Okay, and and we have a shopping mall. So people can go to a shopping mall, people can go to a library. Now they all get shut down. And so the county and the state don't think about, we still have a lot of people don't have air conditioning. I live in the no air conditioning back in 1989, till I built my house, move on. And upgrade myself. But in 1989, 2001, I live in a house that has no air conditioning. And this kind of weather is unbearable. But luckily I have a swimming pool, so I can dip in the pool. But what I'm saying, a lot of people like senior, and fixed income, we need to find a way. So would your city manager look into, do we have a potentially, could this really quickly to announce so we can have people to kind of, like we open some place for them to come in, okay, to cool down, because I think save life, okay, because right now this kind of heat, especially for seniors, is very tough, okay. So that's one thing I want city to look into it, okay, and okay, for some kind of facility we can do it, okay. And the second thing regarding the fire department and the police and our public work for the Gloucester Park fire, and that is potentially catastrophe. And I really, really want to show my deepest appreciation for them show up so fast. And I talked to the chief, it's a big production, okay, and not only for county fire department show up with a helicopter, okay, and we even have a Compton, okay, fire and the Glendale fire and the Downey fire to come to assist us. And we put out the fire in no time, okay, but it still burned down 8 acres of our wilderness of the park. And if they go into the hillside, all the hillside property, all those community will be in extremely trouble due to this weather and dry. So I want to represent a council and the city resident to thank our public safety department for their in that. Even the resident calling me, and send email want me to thank our fire and police, for them and to in that hot weather and with a full guild, and over there, and they work very hard to save our city. So here I want to thank them again with this magnificent job. Job well done, and they are all our heroes. Thank you so much, and so this is a very good job. Any other city council want to talk about anything? No? Yeah, Jessica, go ahead.
Thank you for bringing up the Gloucester Park fire. As many of you know, I grew up right there, and my parents own a house there. So it was our second very, very close call in just a little over a month. So thank you, as always, to the West Covina Fire Department for doing a fantastic job. And thank you to LA County Fire and all of the other agencies who came to help us and protected my home and the homes all around there. I also want to say thank you to my fellow council members and the city staff for understanding and making it possible for me to appear remotely at this time. Fingers crossed, I will be back in person at the next meeting, and I look forward to seeing all of you then.
Yeah, Jessica, we want to wish you the best. We cannot wait for you to come back, so I can see my back. You sit behind me, so hurry back, and so we can have 5 city council sit in one room. But again, another thing I forgot to thank is South Hill Square down below with Tokyo Central. They show me the picture. They allow their parking lot for all the residents, to park their car into, and it's so jam-packed. It's a bumper to bumper, so all the residents can park their car into their shopping mall. So I want to thank the owner of South Hill Square. And since this is how the community is, basically everybody step up to help each other when during the crisis. So again, I think this is a good feeling, including, we have all these people continue want to donate the PPE to our hospital, and we talk about Queensville Valley, they still want more, so we're going to give them more till they don't want it. Other than that, any other council have any thing? Yeah, motion to adjourn, but I want to thank all the council, and I want to thank city management team and all the staff and all the person show up. Thank you so much to address to us and show up. Participate with us, and we'll come back next time. And for people on TV, on internet, thank you so much for watching, and continue to participate with city and give us a suggestion. And I want to wish you all the best. I see you next time, and meeting adjourned. Stay healthy and stay well, and good night. Thank you so much. Good night.